Why do I need to be good all the time? I'm wrapped around his finger, but he is mine. Don't care what they say, too late anyway. Why do I need to be good all the time? Nah, 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 no drama, no drama here. Nah, 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 no drama, no drama here. Nah, 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 no drama, no drama, yeah, yeah.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday, and welcome to Cleaning Life with Kia. Thank you all so much for being here today. For those of you that are here for the first time, my name is Kia Smith, and I am the owner and founder of Help Now. It's a small cleaning service here in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area. I specialize in cleanings, general cleanings, decluttering, organization, basically anything household management. So I'm just using my business as a platform here to just give advice and just talk about all things cleaning and life and in between. So we just can't get away from our cleaning responsibilities. You know, we have life. We just have a lot going on, but in the midst of all of that, we have to take care of our home. It is very important that um, we have a very peaceful home and we have order and not chaos in our home so far as, you know, just anything household management. So thank you all for being here. And for those that have tuned in before and continue to support me, thank you very much for being here. Thank you so much for tuning and spending your time with me this evening. So yes, my business is Help Now, and at Help Now, our mission is to help our clients manage their home and organize parts of their lives that matter the most by bringing families and communities together through complete household management. We have a passion to help heal and nourish our clients through life, whether they need help now or later. So yes, again, like I said, the show is Cleaning Life with Kia. So I just like to talk about, like I said, cleaning life and everything in between. We can't get away from that. And it is just something that we have to deal with. And it's a real thing. And people don't talk about it enough. You hear, complaints often, you hear complaints about how we don't have enough time to get things done and in our home because we're ripping and running, having to work these jobs. We have our children, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, we have to maintain our households because we have to have peace. This is where we live. This is where we rest and where we dwell. So we have to make this place as comfortable as we can. So we just talk about all things here. And to those that always kind of tune in and tap in, they know before I even just start like my topic, I just kind of shoot the breeze and just have conversation. So the first thing I wanted to acknowledge was today was a really beautiful day. It was so nice outside today. And it's been like this yes, it's been like that for the last few days. And so what I'm just learning to do, and it helps. I'm gonna tell you, this is a true thing. People say it, and I think they just, how people just say it and go in one ear and come out the other ear. But just being grateful for the natural things that go on every day, just right before our eyes. I just don't think that we take the time to give thanks and acknowledge and appreciate. Like it was just absolutely gorgeous today. I mean, the weather, it felt amazing. It was a slight breeze, but it felt so good. The sun was on my face and I just felt happy and I just felt at peace. So, and it just made me happy. And then to just be able, I guess, to just stop and acknowledge that made me feel good. Every day is just so unpredictable these days. And I think that we don't take the time to appreciate those things that we say are small things, but in reality, that's a big thing, with it looking so nice outside and the sky was so clear and it felt really good. And so I don't know, it was just like I don't know. It was like the day gave me a hug today. Like I really felt good. It lifted my mood and my spirit. So, yeah, I had to just take it, take all of that in. Like I took all of that in. And so I also wanted to tell you guys, and then I'll be trying to catch up and let you know what happened between, since the last show, up into this show. So, a lot of stuff be going on. It's been a couple of weeks, and so it be stuff going on every day. So I'll just be having to fill y'all in because again, it's life in between all the cleaning. And so I say cleaning life and everything in between because just guess for me, I do that as a profession. So not only I have a full-time job, and then I have my business and I have to maintain my own home. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of life and it's a whole lot of cleaning going on. So it just be so much going on and I just be wanting to share because it's just reality and we all have so much going on. So it's just basically, inspiration and motivation. Because trust me, if I can do it, I know that y'all can do it as well. And if not, we're gonna figure it out. We'll figure it out together. So this past weekend on Saturday, I was invited as a guest speaker to speak at a senior summit in Conway, Arkansas. And it was absolutely phenomenal. Like I knew it would be good. I knew it was going to be. I knew it was going to be good. And I love when you already positive and you know that things are just going to work out and it's going to be awesome. And then the event pops up or whatever shows up and then it just supersedes like everything you thought it was going to be. And that's what it did. It was so nice. So the community of seniors were embraced in this summit, and there were just so many topics that they talked about. They talked about fraud because people are always trying to pull a scam over on seniors, and they talked about estate planning, um, talked about Medicaid or Medicare, and then I talked about basically decluttering and organizing because they need that service and they battle with that. The older you get, you can't do all that stuff. So I was asked to come speak to just give some insight, and it was just everything. And then they had a segment where there was like a little senior fitness segment, and we did like chair exercises. And it was just the energy was just good. They had food there for everyone. We played bingo. We just had games and had to unscramble words and stuff like that. Like it was just really cool, and everybody was just so warm and embracing, and um, just really tapped in. So I was just so excited to be a part. So, so transparent moment. I was going there also. Well, it was in Conway, but I was gonna have to. I was gonna have to go through Conway to get to the Chris Brown concert in Memphis before they canceled it. So I was going to, I was going to see Chris Breezy, but he canceled. But it worked out. Like it worked out perfectly. And then once I thought about it, I was just like, I'm so happy that I was able to put that energy into, it would have been cool going to a concert. I don't go to concerts, but there was a lot of driving. There would have been more driving, it would have been more energy, it would have been more spending money, it would have been more. So, when it's time for me to go see Chris Breezy, if it's ever meant for me to go see him, I will. But I'm talking about time very well spent. It could not have, I mean, I could not ask for a better day. Uh, it was just really nice. And just for people to take the time out to consider the senior community, to love on them in that way. Like it just felt really good to be a part of that. And they do that every year. So I'm just still kind of on my cloud from that because it was just a really good moment. Let's see what else happened. Oh yeah, so to all of those that don't know, and people come in all the time and check the show out. I have my four sons. I have four sons. uh, 13, 16, 17, and 20. And so they're always up to shenanigans. I mean, it's four boys, so it's never, ever, 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 ever a dull moment. They are an absolute huge part of my life. So I have my 16-year-old. He works with me. Well, my 15-year-old, 13, 15, 17, and 20. Oh my gosh, I'm getting their ages all mixed up. Um, my 15-year-old, he works with me, with the business, and then um, the other ones, they're just involved in this whole process because I mean it's my business. So it's a part of my life. So it's a part of their lives as well. So I'm always talking about them because they're just a very important, um, dear, loving part of my life. So they always tend to come up. And this again, it's cleaning life. So they're part of my life. But I say I have to catch all up on stuff that they be doing because they always up to something. Uh, so my youngest one, he's 13. My Eli, he's the baby. Uh, my first real encounter with like a Sagittarius, and oh my God, this kid keeps me up on my feet, so on my toes. So the last thing he got into a couple of weeks ago, he gets ISP. He get in school suspension. I'm at work, and that's the worst thing they can do. School call you when you at work about some of your kids doing it with the school, acting a fool. Assistant principal call. And he's a good kid, don't get me wrong. Like I'm saying he got ISP, but it's not because he's just a bad kid. He's just a kid. And kids do stuff. And so, it is what it is. But the assistant principal called and was like, well, I just want to tell you what happened today with Eli. He's safe, everything's fine. He said, but he did get some days and in school, ISP and school suspension because he's fight. And in my mind, I'm like, I know Eli not up there fighting. I know he didn't leave the house today to go to get a fight. He's like, no, he wasn't in a fight. He was like, he got in trouble because he was recording the fight. And I'm like, okay. And then he goes to him. He said, but Eli is a really, and I'm like, yeah, and I know. And he wasn't saying it like, well, he's a really good kid to try to pacify me. Like he's really like a good kid. He's just a kid, and they do shit. So he so I go around, the rest of my day, and I mean they call like that fight must have broke out early in the morning. He called the assistant called me early in the morning. So I went the whole day. I didn't text Eli, I didn't say anything, I didn't say anything about anything because I already knew how this was gonna go down. He already knew how it was gonna go down too. So I made it home that day. He calls me, I'm already at the house, and he's like, hey mom. I pick up the phone, hey, he's like, hey mom. He was like, yeah, just go ahead and let you know. Got ISP today. Or the fight. I said, well, okay, we'll talk about it when you get home, son. He gets home as soon as he hits the door. And I had already had just kind of been sitting in the living room, not waiting on him. I was just kind of sitting around anyway. So as soon as he comes in, he like puts the phone down. He puts his phone down because he know he gotta give it up. You gotta give it up. First of all, you're not supposed to have your phone out like that at school. And I'm just like, dude, I walked through the door. I'm like, is that what I send you to school for to be recording? He was like, no. He said, it's not. He said, I already knew I was gonna have to give it up. He said, so I gotta give up my tablet too. I said, you got to give up everything. Everything he left. He said, okay. He went in there and just gathered his little stuff. And he said, well, he said, I already knew the consequence. And he just put it down and he just went on about his, just went on about it. But no, I really don't be tripping too hard because they're now, if he had been in the fight or disrupted, in some type of way, that would have been, with those kids, they just kids. And the crazy part is all four of them have been in ISP at some point at 4 different times. They've all been in ISP. And the crazier thing is two of them have been in ISP for the same thing, and the other two have been in ISP for the same thing. So Kaden and Kaba got an ISP because they trap is smart, that mouth. And then Samaje, my oldest, and then the youngest, Eli, they've been in ISP at 2 different times. Obviously, for the same thing, recording a fight. Samaje, when he got ISP, he was either in I think 11th or 12th, I can't remember. The same thing, recording a fight. And they told him, they said, you got one or two options. They said, either um, we gonna call your mom, or two, you get 3 days of ISP. And he was like, give me the ISP. He said, give me those 3 days. And I didn't find out about that until later. So I didn't know. I didn't know. 50 days and moving on about their business. Kabai and Kate did the same thing. They can get ISP and you don't even know. Like if they can't catch you on the phone, like back in the day, they'll send a note home, or you call the house, you're gonna get somebody because you calling the landline and it's always somebody there. So it's just always something. And I'm not like y'all stress me out. If y'all want to sit up and be looking crazy in ISP for 3, 4, 5 days, have at it. Have at it. I just know those grades better be doing what they need to do, and you better not be up there being disrespectful and acting a fool. But yeah. And then last but not least, I cannot wait to go to bed. I cannot wait until like I'm gonna get through this podcast, not get through it like I'm rushing because I'm excited to do it, but like, oh, the next thing that's coming after that is getting into bed and getting the best night's rest. So last night, I don't know. I had the best night's rest, and I either it was the best night's rest that I've had in a very, very long time, or either in my life. Like I don't know. That sleep was so good last night. I was talking to myself in my sleep about how good the sleep was. Like it was a whole, I don't know. Like my whole body and mind just surrendered to the sleep gods. I don't know. Like that sleep was so good. I thought about it all day today. Like I'm chasing that sleep. So I don't know what it is. It may be because I've started um eating my last meal of the day way earlier than normal. I'm sure that has something to do with it. But listen, if that does, listen, I'll never eat late again. Like, and I know that's not good to do anyway because your body is still working. Break that stuff down. But like, listen, I'm talking about it was like a blissful sleep. So I'm just like, oh, I didn't even, like I said, I can't remember the last time. And I'll be getting like some good sleep sometimes. Sometimes I don't. But sometimes I have like good sleep. But like that sleep was superb. Like, I don't know. Like somebody came and sprinkled a little extra something. Like, I don't know. Um, But anyway, let me move on so we can get through this topic. I'm already almost 20 minutes in rambling. So my topic is your home holding you hostage? Um, so I was inspired to do this topic because I've been noticing and paying attention to the fact that a lot of people aren't happy in their homes. Like they're not happy in their homes, and it's causing them to feel stagnant and uninspired. When your home is unclean and unkept, it can make you feel like you're a hostage to it. It blocks creativity. It creates so many other hindrances. You're supposed to feel safe and free, in your home. Um, so a persistently messy, unsafe, or chaotic home, not only does it look bad, it can trap you by reducing your mobility and safety, wrecking your mental energy and decision making, isolating you socially, and creating ongoing costs that make the escape harder. So I just wanted to break down how that happens in each domain. Like when you're in your home, like again, like I said, you should feel safe and you should feel peaceful and you should feel calm. And a lot of times it's like you're out in the world, you're working these jobs, you're doing this, you're doing that, and that can be a bit tense sometimes, depending on what your day-to-day routine is. It depends on your mindset and all of that. But then a lot of times, people will say, you always can't wait to go home and rest and, relax. But a lot of times, a lot of people don't have peace in their home. they can't come home and relax. There's too much stuff going on. It's not clean. It's not clutter free. It's a lot going on. So that throws the energy off. It throws everything off. And so basically you're being held hostage in just different ways, whether you know it or not. So like I said, I'm just going to break down how that happens in each domain, like how it traps you mentally. So you have decision overload. Constant clutter creates endless small choices that will exhaust your willpower so you avoid any action. So, like I said, decision overload. So when you have a whole bunch of stuff that you need to figure out where it needs to go, what you need to keep, what you need to throw away, what is this, what is that, it's a decision overload when your mind has to work that hard to figure all of this stuff out. And so eventually you just avoid it and don't do it at all. You have cognitive fog. Visual chaos reduces attention and working memory. It is harder to plan, remember appointments, or complete tasks. So when your home isn't conducive, like you will do that. You will forget things that you know that you need to do, schedule things that you have to do because your house, like I said, it's just that energy and it will throw you off. Learn helplessness. So repeated failed attempts to clean or organize teaches your brain it won't work. So you stop trying. Um, when you keep like you have this project that you need to do, or you have a room or whatever the case may be, and you keep going in there and you keep kind of picking at it, but you never get anywhere. Um, and you walk away from that experience and you haven't gained any ground, you're going to feel some type of way. So you're going to stop doing it eventually. They have what is a perfectionism loop. It's a fear of doing it wrong, and it prevents you from starting. Um, if you can't do it perfectly, you don't do nothing at all. And I have a few clients that are like that with me. I'll be like, you can do this. Now if you want to pay me to do it, I'll do it. But some of the things that I do, I'm like, you can actually do it. And they're like, well, if I do it, it's not going to turn out like you did it. And if it's not going to turn out like you do it, then I don't want to do it at all. But my thing is, you have to do it to satisfy you. I don't live with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here to help. I can do it this time while I'm here um, rendering this service, this cleaning service. And apparently you're not going to be able to do anything like I do it because, I do things the way that I do it. And that's why you call me. But just because you can't do it the way that I do it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it at all. You're still going to get it clean. You're still going to get it done. And it may just be the idea for them that, someone else does it. And so you can leave the house and come back in and, stuff is sparkling and everything is in place and this and that and the other. But you have your own standards of cleaning. Don't try to make your way someone else's way because that's never going to work and you're going to always give up if that's the case. So how it traps you physically, like literally physically, like blocked exits, trip hazards. You have piles, cords, or furniture that can prevent a safe exit or cause fall. You have health hazards. You have mold, pests, infestations, accumulated waste, and poor sanitation can cause or worsen respiratory, skin, and infectious conditions and reducing mobility. So when you don't keep your house a certain way and it's unkept, like those things, the pests, the mice, the roaches, other pests, they just come on in, the mold, poor sanitation, it directly affects unclean home directly affects your health. Reduce usability of rooms. Kitchen, bathrooms, or bedrooms are so cluttered you can't prepare food, bathe safely, or sleep properly. Like, have you seen houses that, like I said, the rooms are so in disarray, you can't even use the room for what it's meant for, the function of the room, because you got so much going on. It'll also trap you emotionally, hold you hostage emotionally. You'll have shame and social withdrawal. Embarrassment stop you from inviting or seeing friends, which increases isolation and reduces support options. You have attachment to possessions. Fear of losing items makes letting go feel unbearable, even things that are worthless. So, like emotionally, people are attached to things. Like, so learning to detach is probably one of the most valuable things that you can acquire in life, learning to detach. And I'm talking about like um, from things and situations and people and all of that. Like detachment is so, you don't ever want to get so attached to something that it starts to affect you um negatively in an emotional way. So it's just easier to be able to just, and I know it's easier said than done, but it is easier to just learn how to detach, because when it comes to, especially when it comes like to like this cleaning thing, it, that's where that hoarding comes in. They're so attached. You're looking at it like it's just junk. Like, oh my God, you could just go in there with a bulldozer and just get rid of all of that stuff. But to the owner, the person it belongs to, they are honest to God attached to those possessions. And that's not healthy. Um, you have guilt and low mood. So persistent mess contributes to depression and anxiety, which in turn reduces energy to change the situation. So when you're feeling bad all the time and you have anxiety all the time, that holds you hostage from even being able to correct the situation. You're gonna have your mood, your vibration is low, your mood is low. So when your mood is low, you're likely to be depressed again, like I said, anxious. And when you have those type of feelings, you're not in the mood to change the situation. You're not in the mood to do anything better. And when you kind of get to a certain point, I mean, there's just really nothing you can do. You're just trying to exist. You're just trying to exist. And then also, um, on an emotional aspect, conflict at home. And this is a big one too. Ongoing arguments about cleanliness can make the home emotionally unsafe, so you avoid addressing the root cause. I hear so much all the time, top three things you always hear, and that is people having conflicts in the home about um, cleaning. That's emotional, because just think, you the mama fussing at the kids about the house not being clean and being unkept, the husband and the wife, y'all fussing, siblings, y'all fussing, like everybody fussing, like household chores and stuff not getting done. Like people argue about that a lot. It causes a lot of conflict um in the home. Like, and that's a lot of emotional baggage to be dealing with. Like I've had shows before and I've talked about that. When you're in the home living with someone, um, to have conversations, because it's so important. A lot of people, they just think that it's gender roles and it's just easier to say, well, that's a woman's job to do, something like that, but it's not. Everybody needs to know how to take care of themselves. It's basically you take care of yourself. So, like I said, I have my boys and I make sure that and I'm not just on them like that. Like they know how to do stuff, and I do give them reminders, and they do have to have things like a certain way, but I'm just not on them like that. And they're actually happy that the amount of uh, heat I put on them regarding certain things, like they're actually grateful, because then they go into these other spaces and they see where people don't keep up, they go into other houses and they're like, oh my God, how did it get like that? I say, yeah, all that stuff that I be telling y'all to do, if I didn't tell you to do those things, that would be the outcome. So that's why I say the things that um that I say. And it's not a gender role. Like my oldest, he is in the Air Force now. So when he went there, like, huh, all he had to do his own laundry, wash, dry, fold, put all this stuff up. He has to clean his room. He has to do all of that stuff. And not only, and he can't just just do it any kind of way. So when he left home, he was already prepared for that. He was already, there was one less thing that he had to worry about. And trust me, I've had my emotional traps being hostage here, dealing with that part of it, with the conflicts. Because listen, if you stay in the house with somebody other than yourself, it's gonna be conflict, but it shouldn't get to the point where it's like this emotional weight, because uh, people aren't pulling their weight. Like I said, even being here with them, like they'll get to fussing sometime, and have gotten, especially when Samadre was home, because they be bickering over chores, and it just causes conflict, and it just brings about a negative energy in the house, um and then at some point it don't even because it's not even about the cleaning. Now y'all just arguing, and you're forgetting even where it even started, and it was just basically because people were needing help in the house. It can also trap you financially. So when your home is unclean and unkept, it breaks down. Repairs and replacements cost. Neglect leads to expensive repairs that may be unaffordable. So when you neglect your home, so what are some things that may happen when you're neglectful? You have mold accumulates, the pests, you may have water damage, for example, those type of things. So when you neglect your home, all these things happen, the house tend to break down, and you're going to have to pay repair and replacement costs. More money out of your pocket definitely holds you hostage. You will have late fees, fines, and penalties due to like lost bills or missed notices, that lead to fees, utility shutoffs, or eviction risk. So these days you do have all these different apps and tech and stuff like that. But then you have some people who are like old school. Like I prefer paper, like paper bills, and write stuff down. Like I got some paper. Like everybody's different. And when you're not keeping your house in order, things will get lost. Papers are one of the biggest things that I see when I go to do decluttering organization assignments for clients. There be papers everywhere. People have papers everywhere. So if you're not keeping up with it and it's everywhere, and you're the type of person that do most of your business and keep up with most of what you need to do on paper, at some point that stuff's going to get lost. At some point, something's going to go missing, and it has consequences. Also, how it can affect you financially is higher living costs. So just say um, your kitchen is a mess, your house break down, you haven't been taking care of your kitchen not functioning the way that it needs to function. That means you have to go out and eat out a lot. That's money. If you're not taking care of um, like your laundry area, or your washing machine, um, and it breaks down, now you're having to go to the laundromat. So now you're just extending more money and more energy. And then you have reduced housing options. So just say you have a home, it's harder to sell or rent if you don't take care of it. And so you're limiting your ability to be able to move out of this space if you're trying to move. So if you're trying to move out and you're trying to rent it, or you're trying to sell it, whatever the case may be, if your home breaks down, uh, it causes a financial strain, and you're not going to be able um, to move out, because repairs cost money. And then, depending on how bad it is, you have the cost of emergency cleanups. So once a situation becomes so severe, you may need professional remediation, which is expensive, like animal removal, biohazard cleanup, and things of that sort. Um, so we always talk about the things that, like I said, we have our topic, and that's the topic. But and that's a problem, if your home is holding you hostage. But we also want to extend a solution. And so I'm going to give you like a quick doable plan that you can start now that like won't overwhelm you. So if your home is feeling like this and you got all these different things going on and it's affecting you in all these different ways, um, here's just a quick little doable, nothing overwhelming. Like it's just the getting started part. Um, and it's nothing too, like I said, overwhelming. So first of all, the first thing is safety first. Your safety is always first. If there's a health or immediate safety risk, call emergency services or local shelters. Fire, active infestation, severe injury, or any type of abuse. We just want to ensure your safety. A lot of times we have these conversations and talking about things being not clean, and especially when we're talking about hoarding, a lot of times it's just, oh my God, that's loud and they're nasty, and but no one ever talks about the safety of the person though that are in that situation. Pay attention to make sure that, well, first of all, if this is you, that you're safe, and that if you know someone else who may be in that situation, that they're safe as well, because it do be a lot going on. Like it's a hazard. They're stepping over things. You can trip, you can fall. So if there's anything, and then like I said, those infestations, like there's some people that have situations where it's so bad, it's the mice and like the bugs, and like it's bad, bad. So if you're in a situation or know someone is in this, there are other measures that you can take. So just consider your safety first and foremost. Okay, now the second thing is create 3 small time tasks between 10 to 30 minutes each. Um, for example, like clear a path to the door, collect all mail and bills and put them into one box. Remove any trash into bags. Boom. Like that's nothing. You can, and I'm just saying, and those are just examples. You can make your own list, but it's just 3 things, and just make sure that you use a timer. The next thing, ask for one specific help. So one friend for 60 minutes, ask a friend to come over for 60 minutes, or hired one hired hourly cleaner for the first 2 hours. Don't try to fix everything. So either get a friend to come over to help for like an hour, or hire someone to come in and just basically kind of like get you started. Sometimes a lot of people, it's not that they can't do the task. It's they have a hard time getting started. Once they get started and kind of see the direction it's going in, they can kind of pick up and just kind of go with it. A lot of times it's the getting started. I'll be at a client's, and I have a lot of clients that'll join in. They like to help. It's like I'm getting paid the same rate. I'm like, y'all really can just kick back and relax and enjoy. It's a service, but they're actually wanting to. They want to do it. They want to do it themselves. And once I start and kind of get the motion started, then they can just pick up. And I mean, and they're like going on with it. And they're like, I really just need help getting started. People get overwhelmed and they don't know where to begin. So I think that's a great idea. Hire a friend to come over and just kind of like for an hour, y'all just kind of put your heads together and come up with a game plan and get started, and just don't overwhelm your friend. Just be like, can you come over for an hour and just help me get started? Now you have to have a mindset to keep going. Don't be like, well, girl, shoot, you want to go have a drink? Don't do that. Stay focused. You got to stay focused and get the job done. Or, like I said, hire someone to come in for like 2 hours. And that's 2 hours is a good start, for somebody to get started. And I say that because I, my minimum amount of hours in town is 2 hours. So when I come to do my services, I do my assessment, and all that. And then the client isn't obligated for me to go in there and fix everything that need to be fixed and clean everything that need to be clean. As long as I'm there for 2 hours, I'm good. That's my minimum. And 2 hours is a good enough time to get started on a project, even if somebody just wanted to fall in behind me after I left and continue to, carry out the task. So ask a friend or just hire someone for like 2 hours. And depending on the rate, you may be able to find someone with a decent rate who's really good that can help you get started. You want to, when your house is like really, really crazy and you're beginning to try to pull it together and get it together, you want to keep your essentials together, like your phone, your keys, your meds, your ID, maybe a little cash, and you just want to keep it in one spot. Like when you have stuff all over the place, you just don't ever know what's going to happen at what given time. At any, anything can happen at any given time. So you want to be able to go to like a designated place and grab all those important things and get out if need be. You shouldn't ever be in a situation where your home is real crazy like that and you don't really know where nothing is. You got to go hunting for stuff. You don't want to go hunting for things. Like even when the house is in order and it's clean, I don't like to go hunting for stuff. And the only reason I go to hunting for stuff is because I'll put it down in an unfamiliar spot that I typically don't put it down in, and then I forget that I put it there, thinking I put it in this original place, and then I'm hunting for it, But in this other case, I'm talking about like if the house is just crazy and unkept and cluttered and all of that, and you know that it is, keep all of those things um, in a designated spot. Um, If costs, money, or hoarding are barriers, explore local resources. People don't explore your local resources all the time. You have to be proactive. There are so many um, resources out here that are available. And you can almost find resources for anything. And then, especially with, for the most part, everyone having access to the internet and all that, just type in what you need, tap in when you're dealing with like hoarding and stuff like that. You can call local places like your social services. You have hoarding specialists, community mental health programs, or charities that offer cleanup assistance. Sometimes these things aren't going to just fall in your lap all the time, and people aren't gonna just show up and knock on your door all the time and just say, "Hey, something told me to just stop here," and I felt like you had uh, a hoarder's house, and tell you about these resources. And it doesn't have to. It doesn't happen like that. You're gonna have to be proactive, and you're gonna have to go out there and figure that stuff out on your own if you're really serious about, breaking free from that. You want to feel good when you come home. And I know even for me, like when I have, and like I feel like a little hostage situation, even with me, because I've just noticed that like in every room is something I need to take care of. It's not crazy. It's not like you walk in like, yeah, Lee, it's a little crazy. It's like, no, but there are just certain things that I know because every house is different and the needs of every house is different. So I just know that there are some things that I need to, for one, I've let so much like paperwork accumulate. It's not a whole lot, but it's too much for me, more than what I care to have. And different tasks that I'm trying to get done, and stuff is just kind of piling up. And when it gets like that, it kind of yields me from like my creativity. Like I like clutter free, like open like space. And I just need things to be a certain way. And I have just, and it's not just being lazy. A lot of times, you know, sometimes it's not even like you have a hoarding situation or you're just being neglectful. A lot of times it can just be from being busy. I have been so busy, you know, it's like, what are you doing? You be busy like that. All you can do sometimes, all I can do sometimes is just watch the stuff pile up. Whatever I got going on, because I have other stuff, everything has to take priority. So even though there are some things that you want to get done or need to get done, it may just have to wait. You know, it just may have to wait. But in the back of my mind, I know it's messing with me though. You know, I'm putting it in perspective. You know, and I'm just telling y'all this is how I think. So maybe it'll help y'all too. But this is how I put it in perspective because it's like I'm gonna handle it because that's just me. Like I can't let things just have to be a certain way. But sometimes I just have to let it go for the moment until I get other things straight because you can't do everything. And even though I know that, like I said, it's still kind of in the back of my mind. Oh, it's gonna get done. But until I honestly get it like handled, like I feel like I said, I feel like I'm being held hostage. I know that my creativity is kind of off a little bit, and um, just certain ways that I will handle certain things. It's just a little bit kind of off kilter, and I know it's because I have these little bits and pieces, odds and ends of um, organizing or cleaning that I need to do. And at the end of the day, like we're all human. We're all human. So be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. Do a little bit at a time and ask for help. If you have people to help, you know, ask people to help. So my main source of help really is just like the kids. So we always having conversations and you know, just being real with each other. And like I said, things don't have to be perfect. Like right now, the kitchen need to be clean right now. I told them today. I said, y'all need to figure out what y'all gonna do with this kitchen situation. So Kabai, he's been on vacay because he hurt his hand, you know, had surgery on his hand. So his hand is still healing. So he's out of rotation with the dishes. Like he can get his hands wet, you know, he can take a shower and everything, but you know, when you do dishes, like you might put a little bleach in that thing and you know, we want the water to be good and hot, and like his skin is still healing. So really, it's between Caden and Eli, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, it has just been a challenge. But it's like like tonight, it's like I'm not gonna fight them with that tonight. I'm not about to fight them with that tonight. Like I said, I got little things, but come up with a plan day by day, little by little. We just do what we have to do, and they're the only ones that I have to like help. I don't have like friends and people that come over here and be like, "Girl, let me help you." Like I don't have that, and that's okay. And what I have, you know, I make it work. So whatever you have, you know, going on, um, you can make it work too. It's doable, and it can be done. Um, like I said, right now, it's just life has been so busy. Um, that I just hadn't been able to deny that. It just is what it is. Like I don't even feel no way about it. I'm not overwhelmed about it. I'm not sad about it. I'm really just indifferent and just trying to handle my business and just get through it. But I'm very aware of like things around me that needs to get done. So it's the same thing with you all. Just be patient with yourselves, but you do have to put in the energy to do it. And a lot of times people just things get out of hand because people just don't want to do these things. Like they just flat out and then they psych themselves out. It doesn't get done. And then it just accumulates and accumulates. It gets worse and worse. And the more that it accumulates and it gets worse, it's like more of a hostage situation that you're in because like your peace is being held hostage, your clarity is being held hostage, you know, you're physically being held hostage because when things are all over the place, you can't move the way you want to move around your space. You know what I'm saying? And everyone should feel safe and free and at peace in their home, you know? So for those of you that are struggling with that, you know, I'm just sending out a lot of love and light and some good energy. Um, like I said, I know it's a thing being able to go into other people's homes And not only that, you just hear it like all the time. Like I'll be at work and people they'll be getting cleaning products and they'll be like, oh, like a conversational strike. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody dealing with it in some shape, form, or fashion, but you don't want to feel that way in your home. And then you have to leave outside of your home every day and go out into a world. And the world definitely got us in a hostage situation right now, like in real life. So you should feel trapped and captured all the time just by living. Make you a little short doable list and do those things that will, just start to help you break free on your cleaning and decluttering journey. So that's all I got, y'all. Thank you all for being here. I am anticipating an amazing night's rest. I hope you all do the same. I appreciate y'all so much. I'm not really sure what the next topic. Like I said, I used to struggle with my topics. I would just try to on my own. And I was like, I'm going to let life dictate my topics because I talk to so many people all the time. I have so many clients. Everybody is different. And yet everybody is the same. And we're all going through the same thing. We just need a little help from time to time. So I hope I was able to help y'all in some way. And I hope to see you again soon. Until next time, be safe. I love y'all and have a good night.
Why do I need to be good all the time? I'm wrapped around his finger, but he is mine. Don't care what they say, too late anyway. Why do I need to be good all the time? Nah, nah, nah. No drama here. Nah, nah, nah. No drama here. Nah, nah, nah. No drama.